As always, nothing you hear on the Stripped Pod should be a substitute for personalised professional medical advice. Please always consult your clinician or other medical professional before making any changes to your diet, dosages, or healthcare plan.
Hello and welcome to the Strip Pod, your weekly diabetes fix where we strip back the stigma for real, honest conversations about diabetes beyond the numbers.
I'm Ash, a passionate diabetes advocate and founder of Strip Supply.
And I'm Brad, co-host without a working pancreas.
Coming up on today's pod, instead of talking about New Year, New You, we've decided to start the year without pressure, guilt, or unrealistic expectations.
Oh yeah.
And instead, we are sharing some small, sustainable shifts that will actually move the needle in 2026. I didn't even realize I'd made
Pun
a pun.
intended.
I'm very
Yeah.
proud of that.
That was a good one. I thought you must have done that on purpose.
I didn't, but I'm proud
Well
of that. I'll
done.
take that. I'll
Good
take
stuff.
that. Great way to start the year. It is our first episode back, 2026. How you feeling?
Yeah, isn't that nuts? Like, how are we here already? I mean, we're already at the end of January.
I know. I can't even talk about it.
Nah, it's a bit nuts. But no, look, feeling good. Ready to rip in for the year. I feel like it's a big year ahead. I feel like there's a lot of things that are, I don't know, going to happen. We'll see what happens. But I feel like it's a big year. And hopefully everyone else is, ready to rip in as well for the year ahead. It should be a good one, hopefully.
It's going to be an awesome one. So
Yeah.
let's start by tell me what's been the high and low of your week or your month, because we haven't seen each other or...
No, we haven't really caught up too much at all, have we?
Well, no, that's the pain of living in different states now.
I know. Yeah, how dare you move away, honestly.
Actually,
Right.
the only reason why we have a podcast is so we just
Just catch up.
chat every week. Yeah.
Sorry, and you guys just have to listen.
Yeah.
No. Hi, my week. I actually spent the weekend down in Byron for the long weekend, which was really nice. We had an Airbnb down like on the beach. So it was a really nice little getaway for the weekend. And I tell you what actually came out of that was we were sitting in a bar one night, as you do. Best stories come from the bar, right? We were sitting in the bar, happy hour, beautiful. And this bloke walked up to the bar and he was like ordering a drink with his partner. And I saw he had a little like CGM looking thing on his arm, but it was tiny. Like it was so small. And I was about to get up and go ask him, hey, like, is that a CGM on your arm? And then Emma was like, oh, but what if it's not? Then what are you going to say? And I was like, oh, yeah, good point. So we were sitting at the bar staring at this bloke's arm and just Googled like small CGMs just to make sure that it was. And it was the Freestyle Libre 3, I think it is.
3+. It is so small.
Tiny, like really tiny. Anyway, I got chatting to him, to them, and they were from the UK, traveling for 6 months around Asia and Australia. And so I was talking to him about it, and how like, do you keep all your insulin cold? Like he bought everything with him for 6 months of travel. So he was explaining how they have these like cold packs that once you cool them down, things stay cold for 5 days.
What?
Yeah, so they're like little beads apparently, and like once they get cold, it'll keep whatever's wrapped in it cold for up to 5 days.
That's unreal.
Yeah, so I don't know what the exact product was.
You didn't
But-
get us any receipts.
I didn't. I was having a hard time understanding their accents, to be fair. But no, it was really cool just getting to chat to him about, how he's traveling for 6 months. He obviously had to bring all of his supplies with him, all of his CGMs, his insulin, all his needles, which he said, like, every other diabetic took up most of his suitcase, which probably explains why he was just wearing a singlet. No room for a shirt. But yeah, that was really interesting. Like, just really cool to chat to another diabetic who's traveling around to see how they do it and like talk about some tech that I've never seen before. I've never seen a CGM so small.
It's really small. In your defense, that CGM is only 2 months old on the NDSS.
Is
So
it available in
launched-
Australia?
It is. It launched
Right.
on the in the first week of December last year. It's probably been in the UK for years. Let's
Yeah.
be real.
Yeah.
But it's new here, so
There you go.
you wouldn't have seen that before.
Yeah, no, I'd never seen it. I'd never seen it on anyone. And that's why I actually didn't know if it was one. I was like, I'm sure it is because it's on the back of his arm and it looked like a CGM, but like I'd never seen that one, so I wasn't too sure, So that was really interesting.
No,
that-
I'm so
that was-
glad. And
Yeah.
so glad that you walked up to him and got the goss.
Yeah, it was funny. I didn't actually go up. He turned around and we sort of made eye contact, and I just gave him like a stare, and then just like a little finger was like, "Come here, get over here. I want to know what this is."
Oh, Brayden, that's so weird.
Yeah. No, it wasn't. It wasn't in a creepy way. Like Emma and I were both like, "Wait, get here."
Is that the? I mean, I'm not in the secret special club. So is that the universal T1 like handshake
It was
kind
like
of?
it was really loud in the bar as well, so I couldn't like just go up and or just like shout to him. So I just like we just called him over to the table just to see what was going on. Byron was good. Low of the
Hmm.
week. I had a low last night, which was actually really annoying. Haven't had a low
Oh.
overnight for a long time. And it
Hmm.
just actually like it really disrupted my sleep.
Hmm.
And I've just been flat today. And I think that might be why. So that was kind of annoying. Like really annoying
Hmm.
actually. So that
Yeah,
was
let
the
it
low.
out.
I think the reason for it was I had to change my infusion site last night. And when I put it in, like if it feels good, it like doesn't hurt. But this one absolutely killed. And my level started just like skyrocketing. So I was like, okay, this isn't right. So I was sort of rage bolusing a little bit, and then I took it out and replaced it with another one because I just know that one wasn't working properly. When I took it out, there was a bit of blood and stuff like that. So I popped another one in, and it felt just as sore. And I was like, this isn't
Hmm.
great, but I wasn't going to change it again. I was like, nah. So left it in, and I think I potentially rage bolused a little bit again, but it started coming down, and then I think it just went too far. So it was my fault, really. These things happen, on the big jobs. But yeah, it was actually really annoying. It was like 4:45 this morning as well. So it was like
I don't enough time
in
to
the
like get back
depths
to
of a
sleep
sleep.
properly.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
couldn't get back to sleep. And then, yeah, it was all just blare. So today's a bit blare, but bring the
Yeah, that
energy.
is blah.
Yeah. But anyway, that's me. What's the high and low of your week? What's happening?
I did the same thing as you. I went away on the weekend.
Woo.
I went camping. I went off grid. Had no service, no
Wow.
internet.
Are you okay?
It's divine. Yeah, I
Wow.
actually really enjoy myself.
Oh,
But yeah,
wow.
I think I said this last year. I've been living in Sydney for 18 months now. Never left the city. I
Yeah.
haven't been anywhere. I haven't explored anywhere. I haven't really gone anywhere new. I just hang out in the
Yeah.
inner west, head over to the beach sometimes.
There's a lot to
And so
explore in Sydney too. Like a lot
so
of just out of
much.
Sydney. There's a lot of
Yes.
places to go, just a few hours south or north or
So
west,
much.
even.
And so I hadn't been to the Blue Mountains yet. So we went out to the Blue Mountains for the weekend,
Awesome.
we glamped,
Nice. Yeah.
but the extent of the glamping was we had a tent already set up for us, and a composting toilet. But we did have hot water. It was like an outdoor shower with hot water, which was
Yeah,
absolutely
cool.
lovely. But it was on a horse farm. So we got to
Oh.
feed horses all weekend.
Yeah.
And then I started a new book. I'm reading Alchemized at the moment, which will mean nothing to you, I'm assuming.
No, I've seen a lot of people reading it, but on that, I actually finished a book already this
Stop
year.
it.
Yep. I think I've
But
entered
we're
my
only
reading
29 days in.
era. I know, shock. It was the book I started last year, and then I sort of just put it down. I think I got like 60 pages in. I sort of just put it down.
Was that the Murder on the Train one?
No, it was Behind Closed Doors.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, really good actually. Really good book if anyone's looking for something to read. And a couple of weeks ago, actually, I think it was only like 2 weeks ago, we went and saw The Housemaid, the movie, because Emma
Oh,
loved
yes.
the book.
Yes.
And after that, I just picked this book back up and couldn't put it down. So I read like 300 pages in like a week and a half.
That's actually unreal.
I just got proper stuck into it. Yeah. So I think I'm in my reading era now. I've got another book to go, and yeah.
That's the sign of a good book, right?
Yeah. Apparently, I wouldn't know,
Mm.
but yes, good book.
Well,
And I
I
hope
feel
you're
the
proud of
same.
me.
I'm so proud. And I
Nice.
don't know, maybe I should recommend this book to you. It's 1,000 pages,
No.
1,060 pages, I think. It's the lore behind this book is it started off as a Harry Potter fan fiction between Hermione and Draco Malfoy. So they end up getting
Oh.
together. And it's like a really dark fantasy novel. But the wizarding world or the magic world that she's created is really interesting and really fascinating. So yeah, really enjoying that. And it's the kind of book, because, 1,000 pages, you really
Yeah.
have to go off grid and not have any screens around you to be able to like really plug in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
So
a lot.
that was good. Yeah.
Yeah. How far in are you? 60
Oh, I've
pages.
got like 80 pages to go.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
almost finished. Yeah. And every night I'm like, I want to finish it. It's so, so good, but I'm so tired that I have to put it down.
Yeah. That's actually how I was feeling.
Yeah.
Like, I got to that point. So yeah, I think you could say I've entered my reading era, Ashley.
Oh, welcome,
Oh,
2026,
I know. Look out.
the year of Braden reading.
Who am I? Yes. So you're high,
Um,
yes.
that is my high. My low, and kind of related to why I went away on the weekend, I'm just feeling so chaotic and overwhelmed. And
Mm,
I hate the fact that I feel this way in the first month of the year.
yeah.
Felt this way since week one. And my focus, I just can't stay on one task. I haven't even done my goal setting or my vision boards, which I always usually do at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
And to be honest, that's exactly why we're doing this episode, because I'm hoping I'm not the only one who feels overwhelmed by 2026.
Yeah, I don't think you're alone there. I think that's also the perfect segue. What do you reckon? Just jump straight
I
in.
reckon. Yeah, let's dive in. Let's dive into today's episode. And this is a great one to listen to with a notebook because it can be interactive if you choose to be.
There you go. Open those pen and paper, people.
Now, we all know New Year's resolutions, they tend to flop,
Yeah.
but we still keep setting them anyway with the best intentions. Like I just said, haven't got around to setting any goals yet this year, which makes me just feel even worse about myself. Have you actually set any resolutions this year, Braden?
Look, I'll be honest, I'm not a huge goal setter. I did it 1 year and it actually worked really well just because I had a few things that I really wanted to achieve, like real big things.
Hmm.
And I actually wrote them out on like a little whiteboard and I had them sitting in my bedroom that year. And that worked really well because it kept me really accountable and motivated. But on the whole, I'm not a huge goal setter. A resolution is to sort of be a little bit more money savvy. So we're doing a couple of things here at home to, like containers for change,
We'll see you at Aldi.
that sort of thing. Yeah, just like those little things that are also a little bit more. They're a little bit fun. So look, no outrageously huge goals. I'm not going to go run a bloody Ironman or anything like that this year. Just the usuals. Keep ticking along. Be happy, healthy. Maybe drop a few kilos.
I mean, we could all probably be a little bit more financially savvy. I don't think you need to drop a few kilos,
Oh, I
but
appreciate that.
I think that you've got the right idea, because resolutions, they tend to be super vague. Like, a lot of people listening might have had resolutions in the past that's like, I'll be more in range, or resolutions can be super extreme, like I'm going to have perfect levels, or I'll be
Yeah.
90% in range this year, when currently you're sitting at like 50 to 60% in range.
Yeah.
And you might even be feeling pressure from your healthcare team or from social media, which is what I'm definitely feeling about needing to have these perfect resolutions.
Yeah.
But the thing is, with you, like, diabetes throws you curveballs, right? You've
Exactly.
got hormones, stress, illness, tech failing like it did for you last night.
Yeah.
And all these things, they get in the way of these rigid goals that you set, because it feels like failure even when you're doing your best and things are just out of your control.
100%. And I think, you can set a goal, and some people might, and that's absolutely fine. Like I could set a goal that's, over the next week, I want to be 85, 90% in range. But things happen, and then that goal can sort of get in the way of, enjoyment in your life. And then for me personally, I know like my mental space will be taken up by that. Like, okay, like, making sure everything's perfect so that I can achieve that. So for me, like those sort of goals aren't realistic. They're not what I want to be doing. And, fair play, like a lot of people will have those goals and that's absolutely fine. And, people might want to reduce their HbA1c, right? Like they might want to get their HbA1c down to 8 or 7. I think that's a really good goal. I think that real long-term looking after your diabetes as a holistic approach is really good. Breaking it down into the day by day and the nitty gritty, I find really difficult because things happen. Like I'll go for a run and I don't want my level starting at 8 because I know I'm going to dip. So I want my level up at 12. But then, of course, I'm out of range. So there's a whole balancing act for me. Those sorts of real nitty goals just aren't quite it. So, yeah.
And you make a really good point. Sometimes these goals contradict each other, right? Because if you want to have a goal of improving on your running this year, or you want to have a high level when you start. That's what you feel comfortable with.
Yeah.
But that's completely contradicting the goal that you have of,
Completing a
being
half marathon.
time in
Yeah.
range. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. 100%.
It kind of reminds me of like, do you have the 75 hard challenge all over your feed right now too?
No, I've seen bits and pieces, and it's always a good one to start the year, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's just like,
Yeah.
how do these people have time to work full time? The 75 hard challenge is a full time job.
Yeah, literally. I don't really know too much about it, to be honest. I'm not fully across it. I see little snippets of it pop up here and there.
It's the epitome of just completely unrealistic, all or nothing attitudes, and we see that so often in people say, as a whole, us setting our resolutions, like in terms of diabetes world, it might be seeing 68% time in range, but your goal is 70%, so therefore 68% is a total failure when you've still improved your levels by an impressive amount, and we're not celebrating how far you've come.
Yes. Yeah.
And does that feel relatable for any of the goals that you've set in the past, like where you've had an all or nothing mindset? I know this is relatable for me.
Like I completely understand that. Like if, like you said, if you set a goal for it's like 70% and you get 68, well, you feel disappointed by that, don't you? Like intrinsically, you feel like you failed, but realistically, you've improved it from, say, 60 to 68, which is a huge improvement, and that's what you should be celebrating and looking at, not that 2% that you've missed out. So that's a really interesting point for me personally. Like I said, I have never really been a huge goal setter for that reason. And as you know, and people listening would probably know as well, I'm very much go with the flow. Like do things off the cuff. Like I'm really just quite chill in that manner. The goals that I set, these ones that I talk about, were more like run my first half marathon, save X amount for a house deposit, all this sort of stuff, which, I was able to obviously achieve that year because I guess I put my mind to it. But I think, like circling back to what I said, I think if you set goals that, are achievable or a stretch goal or something and you fall just short of it, I think it's also really important to see how far you've come, not just that you've fallen short of a goal. Does that make sense?
It does. It actually reminds me of when you did the Brisbane half marathon last year.
Oh my God.
And
Yeah.
you were so disappointed because you didn't, like, it was an awful day. Like, everything went wrong. Everything was out of your control. And you were so disappointed that you couldn't get a time that you were hoping for.
Yeah.
But you're forgetting the fact that you finished a half marathon and you pushed through all of those hard times, like feeling ill, all the lows, and you still finished.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true. That was a shocking day for me.
I know. I'm sorry to bring it up.
Yeah. It's so much PTSD from that.
Yeah, so we'll brush that off. But what we want to
yeah.
do today is reframe how we're setting goals, and we're going to do a check-in together on what went well and what didn't go well last year, and build some tiny, gentle habits that are actually going to fit into your life, and they're going to move the needle in the long term, like you said, long-term goals.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have any goals this year, Ashley? What do you got cooking for 2026?
I don't. I think I've got about 10 notes apps where I've like written down, I'd really love to do that this year. But some goals that I think are really solid in my head is I really want to go away one weekend every month and go and explore somewhere new. And that doesn't need to be like a whole weekend. It could be a day trip, going camping, something really low-fi, low touch, low budget.
Yes.
And I want to take better care of myself this year. I want to be getting back into exercising regularly, but I was really careful not to set a goal of like, I'm going to do 5 workouts a week. Like, no, I need to just be moving. Yeah. And some days that will be going outside and walking for 20 minutes and that will be enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's really good. I think that's really, really smart of you, Ashley. Very good.
Oh, we'll see how long it lasts.
Yeah.
Well, all good habits, they start with a check-in. And now I want to make this really clear. This is not a judgy audit. It's not a performance review. There are no gold stars if you've got a great check-in. No gold stars for you, Brayden.
Damn. I was really hoping for some.
So what we're going to do is I'm going to ask some questions. You listening at home can pause or jot things down as we go. We're not going to be offended if you pause the podcast while you are writing things down. And Brayden, I'm going to put you on the spot so you can answer in real time so people can hear what these answers might actually sound like.
Yeah, no, look, I'll be completely honest with everyone too. I've sort of read, but I haven't actually read. So I've sort of scrolled through. So this really will be what's Braden actually
Nice.
thinking sort of answer. So
Is there
strap in for this.
any chance this year's goal is to read the podcast briefs that I send to you before you sit down with the podcast?
Look, you know me. I love to shoot off the hip a little bit, as you might
Yeah, it
say.
makes it more fun.
But no, look,
Uh,
this will be good.
but just a quick reminder, if any of these questions bring up some uncomfortable emotions, that is okay. Notice these, maybe write them down. These kinds of emotions are often where the most useful growth can come from. So keep that in mind.
Yep.
So let's start with the tech part of your life. And as we know from our diabetes diary entrance and in our DMs, that seems to be the loudest part of diabetes for a lot of people right now. So, Brayden, does your current tech match your lifestyle?
It's a really interesting question. I would actually probably say that it does.
Hmm.
It gives me the freedom and the flexibility to do sport, to be active, to get normally a good night's sleep. So on the whole, I would say yes, it does. It does work really well for me. Obviously, there's little nitty gritty little bits and pieces that you struggle with, but I think everyone sort of struggles with something with their tech. That's part and
Hmm.
parcel of having it. Um, on the whole, I would say yes. My tech does actually make my life easier. When I think about it, looks after me overnight. I don't normally have lows during the night. I don't normally have highs during the night. I wake up. When I wake up, sometimes I often don't even check my insulin pump because I know that I'm going to be like 6. Like I almost forget
Hmm.
sometimes that I have diabetes. So on the whole, I would say yes. Yes, it
Hmm.
does.
I think you brought up some really great points. Like the tech you're using, it fits in well with what you do for work,
Yeah.
fits in well with what you enjoy doing with your sport. But let's think about the people listening, if your life is busier or shift worky or more chaotic than when your tech was first set up,
Mm.
have a real think about, is it still working for you now and what you're doing with a lot of your time now?
Yeah, definitely. And if the answer's, you're not sure, then potentially there might be a better option out there for you.
Yeah.
Um, like I never thought finger pricking was that lifestyle that I have with finger pricking was terrible, but I would have multiple lows during the night throughout a week. And I just thought that was normal. But
Mm.
switching to tech, I suppose, has like really improved that and really improved that part of my lifestyle. So yeah, I think there's always, there's there's room for improvement, I suppose, with everything, I guess.
And do you find that your alerts are helping or they're frying your nervous system?
Both.
Yeah.
they're equally terrifying as they are helpful.
Yeah.
I actually, just as I sat down this afternoon to jump on here, I actually got an alert because my battery's low. So if you can remind me at the end of the episode to change that,
Yeah, sure.
that'd
I'll
be
see
great.
if maybe I should make a note.
But those alerts are actually really helpful, and I've got them set up so that they work for me. So
Hmm.
they don't beep. So I've turned the beep off. I just have vibrate because the beeping is horrifying.
Hmm.
And of course, it just alerts me if I'm A, going too high, or B, too low,
Hmm.
or my battery's low. So there's really not that much, and there's not that many alerts, which I actually really enjoy. And of course, it is on a vibrate. And then, if it, after a while of it vibrating for like 5 minutes, I think, or a couple of minutes, then it does start beeping. And that actually wakes me up,
Hmm.
which is good. But I think the alerts are actually really good.
Hmm. You are
Yeah.
nailing this audit so far, but just a reminder, you don't get a gold star.
Ah, come on.
Now, at home, reflect on what you've written down, and if there's something that could be working for you better, you think maybe you've listened to some of Braden's answers and you've thought, oh, that's not really how my diabetes life looks, but that sounds really good. Circle it or highlight what you've written down on the page. We're not making a to-do list right now. We're just gathering info, gathering data. It's my favorite part.
It's a starting point.
It's a
Yeah.
starting point.
Yeah.
So tech is one thing, but diabetes doesn't live in a vacuum, as we all know. It actually lives in your life. So we're going to chat through your life and your routines next.
Yeah.
When does diabetes feel loudest in your day?
It's probably loudest, I reckon, when I'm exercising. So
Mm.
because I want to make sure that I'm not going to go low. I want to make sure that I'm starting, good example, right, is I run probably 3 or 4 times a week, and mostly it's after work. Um, so what's really challenging about that sometimes is I'll have insulin on board from my day at work. And then when I want to go start a run, of course, if I've got insulin on board, I know that I'm going to plummet, right? So I've got to make sure that my level's high enough, knowing that that insulin on board's going to really, with the mix of exercise, is really going to kick in hard. So for me, it's probably when I'm exercising and thinking about exercising and just making sure I'm in a good point with my level to start a run. If you're too high, you feel like shit. It's really hard to run. It's really hard to exercise. You sweat a lot more. Heart rate's a lot higher. So it's a fine balance, and that's where it's definitely the loudest. But it's also just making sure that I'm looking after myself so that I can have the best possible exercising activity that I can.
Mm.
That's probably where it's loudest, I think, for me. Socializing a little bit, like if I'm out with friends or something, obviously the tech really gives me the freedom to not have to worry about it as much. But if I'm out and I'm going for food or drinks or something and having to think about bolusing and all that sort of stuff, obviously that's part and parcel. So yeah, I think exercising is probably the most difficult one,
Mm.
and just making sure that I am putting myself in the best position to perform with my diabetes in mind.
And it's probably a really good lead into this next question, which is where would you want to see more ease or simplicity?
Yeah, probably there.
Yeah.
Probably there. I wish it was easier sometimes. Like I really do.
Mm.
If I go for runs with mates or with my partner, all they have to do is get out of the car, put their shoes on, stretch, and then off they go. Whereas it's
Mm.
not that easy for me. There's a lot of things running through my mind. I've got to take lollies with me as well, just in case I go low. So that's not easy. Um, I think also like some of the injecting, I wish it was kind of easier to put a CGM on the back of your arm,
Mm.
in terms of even from the spring loaded like little applicator that you've got to use right through to trying to stick a patch on it when you can't even see it. It's definitely things that could be easier there. I think that's where I'd like to see maybe just a little bit, I don't know, just a better application system, that sort of thing would be nice.
I'm trying to visualize like you doing like gymnastics, trying to get the CGM on the back of your arm.
It's pretty funny. I mean, like, I have to do it in front of a mirror so I can see, right? And then this is literally
Mm.
how it is. I'm here, and then I'm here, and
Lining
then you
it
got to
up.
squeeze the little triggers and just
Do you
like
have to
try to relax.
squeeze it?
Yeah, so it's got two, like on each side, it's a button. So you
Oh.
squeeze it, and then that triggers like the spring loaded mechanism, and it just shoots it into your arm. But yeah, trying to like, and then just making sure you're not tensing your arm so that it doesn't
Mm.
hurt too much.
Have you seen the Dexcom applicator? Off topic now, but
I actually haven't, no.
it's just a one button press.
Yeah, okay. See, that's similar to like my infusion sites. So they're a one button press,
Mm.
which is nice. But this one, yeah, you got to wrap your hand right around it
Yeah,
and
I would
then
find that hard to be
shoot
pushing
it.
down and in at the same time.
Yes. Yeah. It can be
Yeah.
tricky. It can be really tricky.
Oh, got to use lots of different parts of your brain there.
Oh, yeah. Too many.
But back to the audit. If you do feel at home like diabetes feels loud all the time or
Mm,
everywhere, that is not a failure at all. That is a sign that maybe your load is a little bit too heavy and it could be time to get more support, not to self criticize.
definitely.
And speaking of support, let's chat about who is in your corner. So,
Mm,
Brayden,
yeah.
tell me, who can you message when you have had a shocker of a diabetes day?
Definitely my partner. Yeah,
Mm.
she cops the brunt of it.
Helps when you've got like a nurse in the house.
It does. Yeah, she gets it, which is great. But Yeah, she cops it. Yeah, even like middle of the night, the alarms, like she just sort of rides through all of it with me.
Oh, I feel like you're going to say the same answer to this next question, but who in your life helps with food, cooking, driving,
Yeah,
supplies, and sick days?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely my partner, which
Mm,
is really helpful, and it's really nice to have the support of someone close to you and
mm,
someone who understands what you're going through and gets it. And often she'll tell me before I even know it, she's like, "Are you going low?" Because she just understands, like, something's a bit off, or I start slurring my words or something like that. Like,
mm.
um, so yeah, that's it's definitely nice to have someone who understands and who gets it in your corner. Yeah.
I have realized now why you haven't signed up to Strip Supply yet. It's because I've been trying to sell it to the wrong person. I should be telling Emma to sign up.
Yeah.
She's
Uh,
the one that goes to the chemist with you.
she comes to the chemist with me. Yeah, yeah. We normally try to make those sorts of activities fun. Um,
Hmm.
yeah.
Treat yourself with a coffee
I
after or
mean,
something.
it's also helpful that the chemist is a couple of minutes from my house, and
Hmm.
it's actually really, it's quite convenient. But yeah, definitely. Just yeah. Anyway, next question.
Anyway, who is on your health team? We know you've got an endo, you've got an educator.
Yeah.
We haven't heard much about your GP, but I'm assuming you've
Mm,
got one.
yeah.
Yeah. And also, guys at home, think about like, do you have a psychologist? Do you have a dietitian? Do you have a PT? Like,
Mm.
who is in your corner helping you from a health perspective?
Yeah, and I think, you know, if you have a lot of people in your corner, if you see a lot of different practitioners and stuff like that, there's nothing, that's not anything to be ashamed of. I actually don't have that many. I have my endo, who I see once a year,
Mm,
or sometimes I'll give her a call if I need a script for something. I have my educator who, look, to be honest with you, I see once every 4 years, maybe.
mm,
She helps me when it's time to like go through the application process for new insulin pumps and that sort of thing.
mm,
She helps me there, and I have my GP, and I don't really touch base with him too much unless I have to. So my team's actually really small, but
mm,
I think it's also helpful that my partner obviously knows what's going on. I can talk to her about things, so I don't need too many other people in my team, which is really nice.
mm.
For me, like, the less touch points in the healthcare world, the better in my
Mm.
mind.
It's what works for you.
Yeah, it's what works for me. Obviously, it's different for everyone, and I appreciate that. But for me, yeah, I see my endo once a year. It's normally a really cruisy chat. It's like, how's things going? Yeah, really good. Here's this is your results. That everything's looking really good. What scripts do you need? How was New York last year? Like, it's like that sort of thing, which is really nice. Like, I really enjoy
Mm.
that visit. So it's my team's really small,
Mm.
actually.
Uh, my next question is going to be, how do you feel when you leave these appointments or when you have a conversation with these people in your life? But it's sounding like you have really positive interactions and you feel really uplifted after going and seeing your doctor. Obviously, when you hang out with Emma, you're just like floating on a cloud. But
Yeah,
uh,
obviously.
do, do you
I tell
feel
her that.
uh, do you feel supported after leaving these doctor's appointments?
I get what I need,
Yeah.
definitely. If I have questions, I ask them.
Mm,
Um, so I do feel supported. It probably also helps that, I'm very entrenched in the diabetes world with you and with
mhm,
Strip Supply. So I don't need to talk to my endo all the time or an educator. So for me, like, my little network, that works really well for me. I don't feel the need to change anything, and I feel supported. I get what I need. I get my results. I get to talk about what's working, what's not working. I get to talk about tech. I get to talk about, get scripts, all that sort of stuff to keep me alive. So yeah, I feel like it's a little cruise, like, working really well.
mm. And this next question, it's more for you guys at home. I'm not sure, Braden, if you will have an answer for this because I know you. But which accounts, groups, or podcasts, wink, wink, Do you follow and consume content from, and which ones make you feel seen rather than make you feel guilty?
Hopefully this one helps you.
Hopefully
Hopefully.
this one helps. We're the least judgmental people ever. I really hope this doesn't, you don't leave these podcasts feeling downtrodden.
Yeah, no, hopefully not. Hopefully we bring your spirits up a little bit, bring you
Yeah.
along for the ride, have a bit of fun. To be honest with you, I don't actually consume a whole heap of diabetes content for that exact reason. I think I found what works really well for me, and that's all I really need. So I try not to consume too much other diabetes content, which, yeah, like I said, works well for me. And I mean, in terms of feeling seen and guilty, I try not to consume too much of that content. Like most of the content I consume is lighthearted, absolute dumb brain rot content that helps me just switch off after a day or chills me out in the morning before I go to work or something like that. So I'd recommend, obviously, like if something makes you feel seen or guilty, maybe don't consume content from that platform.
Yeah.
Would be my recommendations. I don't think that's doing well for anyone.
Potentially unfollow, or if you just want to try out not having that person in your feed for a little while, just mute them for a couple weeks, see
Yeah.
how it makes you feel.
Yeah, or try and change up your algorithm a little bit if it's your algorithm. Yeah, I think for me, yeah, I try not to consume too much negative content or too much content that's going to make me feel like shit. So I'd recommend starting there too.
No, I think those are some great tips. And as we're going through these questions, maybe when we're chatting about your support crew, if no one is really coming to mind as answers to these questions, or not a lot of people that you feel like you can really rely on, maybe we can work on how to ask for what you need this year. This is, I feel like, a huge lesson that I had to learn a couple of years ago is people don't know that you need help unless you ask.
Yeah.
And so there are some sentences like, if it's hard to bring up these kinds of conversations with your family and your friends, sometimes a conversation starter like, when I'm low, the best way you can help is to do this is really handy. Coming from someone who was on the other end of that sentence, that's really handy. Just tell me exactly what I need to do.
Yeah.
Because I'm too afraid to ask what you need. I don't want to say the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And then maybe if you're not feeling inspired and motivated and uplifted when you're leaving your doctor's appointments, although I'm not quite sure if a doctor's appointment is inspiring, so scratch that word. But maybe you can, at your next appointment, say something like, at appointments, I'd really love if we could talk more about this and a little bit less about this. That would really help me.
Yeah, I mean, it's the age-old thing. People don't know, what they don't know.
Exactly.
So if you didn't know how to support, say, like if you don't know how to support your partner best or whatever, you obviously can't fulfill that person's needs. So it's really, then onus is on you to just say, hey, this is what I need in this situation. And people aren't offended when you say that. I think it's actually really helpful.
Not.
Like that positive reinforcement, that positive criticism, I suppose, is actually really helpful. So I think, don't be afraid to just say what you need.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've now completed a mini audit. So let's turn that into something small and doable, not resolutions.
Yes, definitely.
It can be really tempting to look down on your page and be like, oh, I could do this, 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 and this. We're not going to do that.
No.
We're not writing a 5-page plan. We're picking tiny moves that are so small, they're almost annoyingly small, but they actually are going to stick because they're going to be easy to implement today or tomorrow.
Yep.
So what we're going to do is we're going to make 3 micro habits, one for tech or management, if maybe you're non-techie, one for food or levels, and one that's emotional.
Yep.
So now what we're going to do is you're going to review the notes that you've jotted down or the thoughts that you've had or brain the conversation that we've had and think about what is causing me the most grief right now in these areas of my life, and then target a micro habit to work towards fixing that one thing. The other stuff that's frustrating, that can wait. Let's wait until you've nailed the first thing. You can deal with that later, at a later date.
Yeah. I mean, it's small steps. Let's take baby steps to be able to walk.
Small steps.
Right.
Exactly. But everything seems so much easier when you're a baby. Like, can you think about going from not walking to walking, how much of a huge step that is?
Yeah. Pun. Literally. Yeah, literally how much of a huge step that is. I mean, take me back, right? Take me back to those days. Life was
and babies
easy.
are working, they're working on doing that for months, chipping away at it.
Yeah,
building
so
the
there you
muscles
go.
in their legs.
Get
Yeah,
these small goals, these small realistic goals, and let's just chip away
get these
one
small
step at
realistic
a
goals.
time.
So, Brandon, maybe let's build one tiny micro tech habit for you for this year.
Mm.
Seeing as you didn't have any goals. Not that I'm forcing you to build habits, but I am because we're recording a podcast.
Yeah, no, that sounds fair.
So, what that could look like is maybe doing what Braden's done and your alarms are just driving you wild. So, maybe switching it to vibrate for a little while, seeing how that feels.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's doing a 5-minute data check in once a week instead of checking your graph every hour.
Yep.
Or maybe it's setting a pre-bolus reminder for the meal that you forget the most. So, if you always forget to pre-bolus for dinner because you're so excited when you come home from work and you just dig straight in, set a little alarm on your phone that goes off, I don't know, every day at 5:30 or 6:30 or 7:30 if you're not as much of a nana as I am and you have dinner at a reasonable time. And that's just a little reminder to pre-bolus before dinner.
Yeah, little baby steps.
Do you have any ideas about what your micro habit could be?
Oh, you put me on the spot there. You really put me on the spot. One thing I need to get better at is sorting out what works best for me when I go exercise in the afternoon.
Mm.
So quite often, like I said, I'll have insulin on board and I might go the other way, and I try to overcorrect that by going too high, which is also then a little bit detrimental. So I think for me, I need to sort of find out that perfect balance, and that might be, the afternoons that I know I'm going to go for a run or something. Maybe I don't eat for a couple of hours beforehand to make sure that I don't have insulin on board, or eat something that's, got low to no carbs. So I think maybe potentially those might be something that I'll look at this year, just to try and really like hone in on that whole process a little bit better. I think that might be mine. I can't really nail down an exact one, but I think that would be mine.
Yeah, I think that's a great habit to implement. And it could even be like one run a week or one of my workouts a week. I'm just going to try one thing different and I'm going to write it down and I'm just going to see what the themes are.
Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. I'll just start small, just see if I can make that just a little bit easier on myself. So we'll see how that goes.
Now let's set a food micro habit. So that might look like choosing one meal per week to experiment with instead of trying to fix every single meal or trying to pre-bolus perfectly for every single meal.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's having one low effort backup recipe for nights of the week that you are absolutely exhausted and you just need something really quickly to put together, something you know the carbs of, and that can really give your brain a rest for a night.
Yep.
I have a rec for this because this is one of my like specialties. I set this as a hack for myself 2 years ago when I was just living alone and there are some nights I would get home from work and I was forgetting to eat because I couldn't be bothered cooking.
Yeah. I do remember these times. Yep.
Yes. And so I have in my house at all times, this is a rec I want to give to you guys if you need inspiration for this micro habit. So I always have for breakfast, there are always English muffins in my freezer, which are really easy to carb count for because it's on the back of the wrapper.
Yep.
There's always butter and Vegemite in my house. So I
Yep.
can always have Vegemite and butter on toast for breakfast if I need to.
Yep.
For lunch, I always have those microwavable rice cups, can of tuna, bag of frozen peas in the freezer. Again, super easy to carb count for. It's all packaged.
Yep.
And then for dinners, what I always have, and this is where it starts to get a little bit like
Bit messy.
not super nutritious, but delicious.
Yeah.
I always have a packet of 2-minute noodles. Again, the bag of frozen peas. She's doing the hard yards, that bag of frozen peas. And frozen prawn dumplings from Aldi, always in my freezer. And so if I ever need to put together a really quick meal, I've got a carb, protein, vegetable meal. Is it super nutritious? Maybe not. But is it better than ordering a meal that'll be cold by the time it gets here? Yes. Again, totally easy to carb count because it's packaged, which isn't perfect, but it means you can take your mind off. You can give your brain a rest for a night.
Yep. Can't agree more. I think I can also give some recos for this because I am the same.
Yeah, please.
My
I need some inspo.
My breakfast is always like yogurt and granola and fruit because I actually love it. And I have it every day and probably have for the last 5 years, I reckon. And I'm still not sick of it. And I think it's because you can get different flavored yogurts, you can get different flavored granolas, you can put different fruit on it, you can put peanut butter, you can put honey. Like, what's your oyster with that, right? Like, it's really good. As a backup, always actually have English muffins in the fridge. Always. There's always toppings to go on English muffins in the fridge or pantry. For lunch is a bit trickier because I work in the office most days of the week. So if I don't have anything pre-prepared to take for lunch, I normally have a frozen meal, which I can just take for lunch, or I end up buying lunch, which sucks, but I mean, it's always an option for me. So frozen meals are really helpful for that. If you have nothing for lunch, you can have a frozen meal. There's a lot of nutritious ones out there, which is really good. And for dinner, similar to you, always have little cups of rice in the fridge. I always try to have like chicken tenders frozen in the freezer. So like chicken
That's
tenders.
a good call.
There's always chicken tenders. There's always some sort of frozen veggie, and there's normally like chips. So that's sort of like, if I have literally nothing, I know I can rely on those things.
Can have some chicken tenders, chips and peas.
Chicken tendies in the freezer, always a great fallback. Or when you're hungover, also really good.
Double benefit. I love it. And now finally, an emotional micro habit. Don't be afraid that I've used the word emotional. All it means is maybe we're coming up with a habit that you're going to buy a notebook to write down one diabetes win each week because you want to start trying to focus on the tiny glimmers of positivity in your week instead of how much negativity and weight diabetes tends to come with.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, why you on that? Sorry, Ash. I think that's really important is to focus on the positives. You know, it's so easy, especially in this day and age, to focus on negatives and things you want to improve on. I think
So easy.
let's also focus on the positives. Yeah, like let's focus on the wins, the things that you're doing really well, the improvements that you're making slowly. I think if we can flip that mindset sometimes, focus on the positives. I think that's really important. I'm so glad you actually said that because that's such a important tip.
Because, I mean, look at you. You showed us your CGM patch earlier in this episode, and it's perfectly smooth. This time last year, it looked like a quilt, remember?
Yep.
How many bits of tape you had to put over it to
Yeah.
get it to stick? Look how much you've improved. Your flexibility,
Yes.
incredible.
There you go. Positives. Woohoo.
And hey, maybe this habit looks something more like scheduling a little mini break from data stalking. Maybe you're picking times of the week where you're like, okay, I'm allowed to check in with my diabetes apps at these times of the week. Any other time, I'm going to leave it alone. My alarms are going to tell me if something's wrong. I don't need to be looking at my data every second of every day.
Yeah, it can be overwhelming. It can be very overwhelming. It can be really good. It can be really helpful. It could also be really overwhelming. So I think, yeah, that's a very good point as well. I think focus on what is really focus on some positives. I think, and then work on those small negatives. Chip away at those, but I think focus on the positives. So if you need to take a break from data or tech, if it is getting too overwhelming, take a break. Go back to needles. Go back to injections. Go back to finger pricking for a little bit. Like there's nothing wrong with that. So
we actually have a guide for going on a tech break on Strip Supply Learn, which is on our website. So if you are thinking about taking a tech break, maybe give that a read. It's written by a diabetes educator, so it's all above board, all evidence based, doctor led, all that good stuff.
Yep.
Could give you some good intel on how to take a tech break if you haven't taken one in a little while.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that at all.
And finally, we want to hand out some permission slips for 2026.
Do tell.
Yeah. The enthusiasm's radiating. So, Raiden, we are going to share something that we are allowed to do this year because we give ourselves permission to.
Yes. Yep.
Things we're not allowed to feel guilty about.
Yep.
Do you have one or do you want me to go first?
I've read yours, so I know what yours is about.
Yeah.
One's similar to yours. So I think permission slip for me, maybe permission slip is to take it a little bit easier on yourself. And for me also, I'm going to give myself permission to take some long weekends. Take a little bit of time off work every now and again and just go out and enjoy this big, beautiful world that we have out here.
Ladies and gentlemen, he read mine and stole it.
No, not true. I just twisted it just a little bit. I got inspo.
Mine was really similar vein. I'm allowed to take a break, and I don't have to answer every phone call. I don't need to answer every single text message. And yeah, and that
Answer
goes for
mine.
everyone at
That'd be good.
home as well. Well, yeah, I do
Please.
most of the time. Most of the time.
Yeah.
Except for when
Yeah.
I tell you that we're not recording on a certain day.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm ready to go.
That's, ladies and gentlemen, happened.
It did.
That
It did.
happened.
I apologize. But we don't always have to be on all the time. We don't have to be connected. The world will still be here when you take a break or when you come back from a break. It's not selfish. It's not selfish to take some time off. It's not selfish to take a couple of days off work
No,
at all.
it can feel like it, but it's not. It's important to look after yourself. And
Hmm.
I think, like, if someone makes you feel like garbage for wanting to take care of yourself, then poo to them. That's not.
Then they're
Not fair.
they're a garbage. They're a garbage.
They're
bomb.
garbage. That's good stuff.
Guys, because of the time difference, I record these podcasts quite late at night and my brain switched off by this point. So
Yeah,
garbage pile
sorry
is the
about that.
best insult I can do.
That's what you get for living in Sydney, Ashley.
Oh, it's my punishment. But we would love to hear your micro habits and what you are giving yourself permission to do
Yeah.
this year. So leave a comment wherever you're listening to this podcast or shoot us a DM. We would love to hear from you.
Yeah, if you made it to this point, actually, we'd love to hear from more people this year. We'd love to get you guys more involved. So
Mm.
shoot us a comment, leave us a voice message, whatever else you want to do. Really, just be involved. It sounds like a great time.
Yeah, we're going to start recording our Diabetes Diary episodes again. And I reckon,
Yes,
you know
send it
how
through.
sometimes we receive voice notes from people and then we have questions at the end? Maybe we should get people on.
Why not? Let's do it.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? Let's do it. Come into our DMs if you want to be involved. But that is all that we have time for today. As always, this episode was brought to you by Strip Supply, Australia's first diabetes subscription box. If you never want to run out of your supplies ever again, and maybe you don't have an Emma in your life, head to www.strip.supply to order your first box.
I'm so out of touch with what I'm supposed to say here, but we'll be back in your ears next week. Until then, tell diabetes to get pricked.
Woo! Strip Supply acknowledges the traditional owners of the land we have recorded this podcast on. We pay our respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging.